With the price of produce rising these days, the question I have, is it worth it to grow your own food on a small scale? Well, in this video, I'll be building this simple garden box to test just that. So I went out to a local sawmill that we have in the area and I found some of this 1x6 full dimensional cedar planks, only 5 feet long, but we're gonna build it about 15 feet long. This stuff should work perfect. I also picked up a cedar 4x4 to support the corners and the seams. We're gonna mount it against this concrete wall. I'm just gonna do a box frame about 15 feet long, 4x4s on either side. It'll be 12 inches high. This wood is actually really cool. It is rough timber. Picked it up fairly cheap from a local sawmill. Decently priced. Spent about $100 on all of this wood, including the 4x4. I'll cut them all at 5 feet. That'll give us 3 sections of 5, which is 15 feet by 2 feet wide, a full 12 inches deep. Should be good sitting right on the gravel. Set up a stop block on my miter saw and get them all cut. All right, just throwing a square on the edges of all of these. It looks like they're all pretty rough cut to begin with, so I'm gonna square up one end on every one. Then I'll set a stop block up and we'll cut them all at 5 feet. Factory cuts. That's why you got to check both sides. All right, so I also picked up one 4x4, which is 12 feet long. My plan was to cut it into 2-foot sections, one on each corner, that's 4, and then 2 for the 2 seams that'll be in the middle of the whole box. We'll do some kind of decorative cap on the top of each 2-foot piece. So I'm just gonna cut these into 2-foot sections and then I'll figure out what kind of detail to put on the top. What I'm going to do is just put a 45 all around the top edge of this, and then maybe we'll do just a decorative cut along the top edge as well. To mark each one the same, I'm just going to put a mark at the back end on the base. All right, so this is kind of the general idea. Pretty basic. 2 1x6s high, corner post, and then it would wrap back around to the concrete wall with another corner post on that side. The reason I'm going this high on the corner post is because this is our driveway. Maybe there's a chance somebody sees this post before backing into it. That's the idea. A little bit of decorative detail on top, maybe a couple curve cuts around it, and I'll do those cuts on the table saw. I think it'll be a little easier than the miter saw right now. I'll go ahead and put those relief cuts in there, and then we'll start building. So that should work pretty good. Gives it a little bit of detail and pretty easy to do. I'll be pre-drilling and countersinking all my screws so I don't crack the wood. Anytime I've got multiple holes to drill, I always just make a jig to speed the whole process up. All this does is eliminate the need to measure every single board. The location we chose for this garden bed has a slight slope on it, so I'm installing the 1x6 boards about 1.5 inches up from the bottom of each 4x4 just to allow me to better level it into position once it's built. With both end pieces built, it's really easy now to just go ahead and add each 5-foot section while adding the post between them. Then repeating the same process for the back wall minus the post. To connect the sections of the back wall, all I'm going to do is use some leftover scrap to secure each section, and then these will be hidden by the dirt that goes into the garden bed. Well, it took about a half an hour, but I was able to dig down enough of the gravel to level out the whole box and get the bottom 1x6 to lay flush with the gravel. I didn't like the unfinished look of the corners and the seams, so I'm just using up more of the same scraps to try to clean them up. It's been a couple days since I built this. The wood was pretty wet when I got it. It's been 2 days now, a little over 2 days since we built this, and I think the sun's been beating on it, so I think it's probably dry enough to put a sealant on it. I love using cedar. The one thing I hate about it is the fact that if you don't treat it with something, it turns gray in the first year, maybe 2 years, and it starts to look terrible. So I just went and picked up some of this Thompson's waterproofing seal. It's just a clear coat. It's got a UV protection in it and also mildew resistant, so that should be good enough for this. And if I have to apply this, you know, once a year, that's still fine. It's like 25 bucks for this can. It's not that much. I'm gonna go ahead and get a coat on there, maybe 2 coats, preserve the color. All right, that should take care of it for this year. Keep it protected through the rest of the summer and into the winter. Next step is to wrap the inside with some type of poly or something. And then we gotta get some dirt and get planted. As I was driving through the lumber store lot, it dawned on me, what about all the wrap the lumber is packaged with? I found a lot attendant, and sure enough, he said, take as much as you need. They just throw it out anyhow. This wrap seems perfect to me. It's strong and definitely doesn't tear very easy, so why not give it a try? The one thing to be cautious about, just make sure the wrap was not covering any pressure treated wood, as this could possibly contaminate the soil, but I'm not even sure. I made sure the stuff I got was on regular lumber, untreated, and that way at least we're safe. So this stuff works extremely well. It is very thick material and it's perfect for lining beds. So if you want to get some, just run to your local hardware store, go in the back where the lumber is and ask for the wrap that the lumber comes in. They just gave it to us. I doubt anybody's saving it. They're throwing it out all the time. So go grab yourself some and save you, I don't know, 50 to 60 bucks on a roll of black plastic that you really don't have to spend. Okay, we're getting real close, but now the real work's got to start. And in case you're wondering, this is a new product called Blended that the landscape store had. It's a mixture of black dirt and compost. It should work good for gardens. I don't know. This is our first time growing anything in a box like this. We did punch some holes in the bottom of that and added some filler. Looks like really good black dirt, and it has a compost mix, so it should be good for growing vegetables. Full yard of topsoil and compost mix. That was a lot of work, but only took about a day and a half, get everything done, and I think we'll reap some rewards from this one. As I was finishing up today, one of my neighbors stopped by to offer these awesome solar post lights she had just laying around in her garage. Just goes to show there's still some decent, kind-hearted people out there.